Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Zach's Credit Card Guide. This week we're talking about the settlement in the class action case against Equifax and what it might mean for you. If you are new to the channel, we do a lot of credit card topics, card reviews, and redemptions, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. But let's get started. So guys, what we're talking about this week is the data breach that Equifax experienced in the summer of 2017. Now you may or may not remember that. It was a couple of years ago, but it's one of these data breaches that seems to happen every couple months now. Some other companies getting their systems hacked and all of our personal information is getting out there for people to buy on the dark web and all that stuff. So Equifax had a leak, and of course Equifax, as you know, is one of those credit monitoring bureaus, so they have a lot of sensitive personal identifying information. So you may not know if you were affected by this or even what's been going on since then. So there's been a class action lawsuit that was brought against Equifax, and they have reached a tentative settlement that still has yet to be approved, but they're kind of in the works of getting all this done. So what it means for you is that if you were affected, you can choose extended credit monitoring or potentially around $125, maybe more, but we'll get into the details. So first, let's see if you were affected. So I'm going to put the link right there for you. I'll also put it directly in the description. Now you do want to be careful because I'm sure there's going to be copycat websites out there trying to capture people's information for this. So do be careful. Even Google it yourself if you want to, just to be really sure. We're going to walk through it live here, so just make sure the website looks the same. Look at the URLs. Be really careful because, again, it would be pretty easy for somebody to set up a copycat website, make it look the same, and capture all of your information. So again, please be careful while doing this. Okay, so I'm going to walk through it with you guys live. Now obviously I'm doing this on my phone, but the website will look similar no matter what you do. So first you want to make sure to see if you were affected at all. So we're going to scroll down and go to the option that says see if my information was breached. Look for that option. And what it's going to ask you for is your surname and the last 6 of your social security number. Go ahead and put that in. So as you can see, after putting in my information, it says that I was affected by this. So what we're going to do is file a claim. Now I've already done this, so I can't go through and fill out my information again, but what you do is press these buttons to file a claim. You follow these simple instructions, and then fill out your information, and it'll walk you through the steps. Now what it's eventually going to offer you is either extended credit monitoring for, I think it's 4 years or something like that, or $125. You'll get to another screen that will ask you if you spent any time or if you had any expenses that you incurred because of this. Now what they're saying is that up to 10 hours, they might just rubber stamp that, and you might be able to claim $25 an hour for the first 10 hours. So that could be going to your credit monitoring bureaus, putting freezes on, just basically any extra time that you had to spend directly as a result of this. And they ask you to kind of describe what it was. And it sounds like they're not really going to ask for any documentation or maybe ask any questions up to 10 hours. After that, they are going to ask for supporting documentation. And then when it's all done, it's going to give you a confirmation number. Make sure to keep that around so you can kind of keep track of this. Now let's talk about what's actually happening, because that's what all of the bloggers are talking about. Everybody's talking about get your free $125, this and that, potentially an extra $250 for the 10 hours of wasted time. People are putting that as potentially free money that's sitting out there. Here's what's really going on. So Equifax reached a settlement of around $700 million. Now, most of that is set aside for actually handling what happened, and actually the bulk of it is to fund the credit monitoring option. Now, if you already have credit monitoring through any other source, you probably don't need it again through Equifax. It's kind of redundant. Me personally, several of my credit cards, and probably yours as well, offer a similar monitoring function through your account, and you can also just log in and pull your credit reports yourself, so you can do a lot of that yourself. And again, there are a lot of free monitoring services out there already that for most people are probably going to be good enough to mitigate any sort of risk. And especially if you are serious about protecting yourself from any risk, just go ahead and put freezes on your credit reports. They're free. It's easy to do. You have to go to each bureau individually, but it's going to take you about 15 minutes. So do it while you're surfing YouTube or watching Netflix or something. If you are concerned about that, just go ahead and freeze your reports and you're good. Now, that is going to create some extra drama for you when you apply for new credit, but again, it's just a cost benefit. What do you want to do? So I opted not to do the credit monitoring. It just didn't really seem to offer any benefit for me. I want to see if I'm going to get the $125, and I did claim a couple extra hours just because I did have to do something about this. I had to go and freeze my reports and all that other stuff. Now, again, like I said, getting back to the settlement. So the bulk of that $700 million is set aside for actively monitoring people's credit and administering that benefit. The cash settlement is $31 million. That's it. Of the $700 million, about $30 million is set aside for payouts. And just the larger number of people that sign up to get a piece of that pie, the less pie is going to be available for everybody else. So there are estimates that if all projected 147 million people sign up for this, you're only going to get about 20 cents. All right. So this is not a fill out a form and get $375 just like that, no questions asked. That's not what's happening. In theory, it could, but again, the more and more people that sign up for this, the less likelihood of that actually happening. And this is all over the blogosphere, so it is being heavily publicized. Now, you have until mid-January to get on the train and get your name on the list. So it kind of depends how many people hear about it, how many people bother to sign up. It's anybody's guess at this point. So the whole point of this video is to tell you that the option is there. At this point, it doesn't cost you anything to just get signed up if you were affected. If you weren't affected, then this really doesn't apply to you. And in fact, I'd probably rather be in your boat, because even if I get the 125, that information's still out there. It's still gone and out there somewhere. So it potentially could bite me in the ass at some point. I'd rather not be compromised, you know what I mean? So if you're in that boat, don't feel bad, because again, the rest of us might only get $10 depending on how many people sign up. So I'd rather be over there. But anyway, if you are affected by this, regardless of how much you actually get, I was reading an article that did mention this, and I tend to agree with it, that everyone who can sign up should, just so we make sure that Equifax pays the maximum penalty that's being negotiated right now. These companies need to have an incentive to prevent these things from happening, and they sort of do just by market forces, but again, it needs to hit them in the wallet for them to really get on top of this stuff and invest in the infrastructure to prevent this from happening. So if you are eligible, please sign up for it. Even though it reduces the pool for everybody else, we need to think bigger picture and longer term. Again, the maximum you're going to get is like $125. If you try to claim the extra 10 hours, you're almost touching $400. I mean, yeah, that's a little bit of money. That's cool. But we need to think bigger picture here. So please go to the website. Again, I put the link down below, but if you want to Google it yourself, just be careful again, like we talked about what link you're clicking. Go through and figure out if you are affected. Now, this is a class action lawsuit. Pretty much anybody who's even in this position and didn't even know what was going on and everything, chances are you probably weren't affected by this that much, at least yet. So this is probably your best way to go. Again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is just my personal opinion and why I did it. So again, I'm not going to bring my own action against Equifax, so I may as well get on with the class action. Now, there are avenues for people who were seriously damaged and affected by this, but those folks, I imagine, already know where they're going and what they need to do. But for the rest of us, this is about the only option we're going to get. My question for you guys is, were you affected by this? What do you think about these data breaches? What else can these companies do? And what should they do for us when they fail? That's what I want to know from you guys down in the comments. But if you guys have any other comments or questions, please do leave them down below. I try to get to every single one. Find me on social media so you can stay in touch. But most importantly, guys, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. That's all I've got for you this time, guys. See you at the next one. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure to drop a comment down below and give the video a thumbs up. Here's some other videos that I think you'll really like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future videos, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter as well. See you at the next one.